I'd like to talk today about free speech. It's been in the news lately of a lot of protesters, people at graduations shouting down the speakers. Um, it's a topic of controversy where there really shouldn't be any. First, first section in the Bill of Rights, number one amendment: freedom to speak, freedom of speech. It's basic. It's common sense. If we're going to say we live in a free country, I should be able to talk. I should be able to say what I want. Now, enemies of free speech always use the tactic of saying freedom of speech doesn't allow you to go into a crowded theater and yell fire. Okay? Tell me something I didn't know. That's basic. We get that. It's also a complete distraction because I don't know anybody that wants to go into a crowded theater and yell fire and then claim free speech. What that statement is meant to shut down is to say there are exceptions to free speech. And then they want to sneak their little exceptions in behind the whole crowded theater thing. You don't have a right not to be offended. You don't. We're all adults. If someone says something I don't like, I don't say they shouldn't be allowed to say that because that hurt my feelings. Feelings aren't your property. They belong to you, sure. But it's not property that you can say, you injured my feelings, therefore I'm going to sue you. Okay? Now, there's a lot of lawyers out there that are doing just that, and they will disagree with me, and they have legal precedent to do so. But that's what's wrong with this country right now. One of the things that's wrong with this country. I think it's a symptom, but that's another video. They say things like, it's okay to be intolerant of the intolerant. That's nonsense. When they say that, what they mean is, those people are unreasonable, and I don't have to listen to unreasonable. So as long as I can make the rules and decide who's reasonable and who's unreasonable, I can make it to where I'm the only one that gets hurt. And that's what you end up with on college campuses nowadays. It's nothing short of Nazism. It's funny because the protesters are called Antifa, which is, as I understand it, meant to be anti-fascist. Okay? But they're using fascist tactics. They're using Nazi tactics. You hurt my feelings, I'm going to burn you down. It's scary because college campuses have nothing to do with reality. Nothing. They are filled with people that have never had to pay bills. They don't have any responsibility for a family. They're usually there either on a government loan or from mom and dad. They didn't earn the money to pay for their own college. And they're going to try and push on the world their viewpoint based on experience in no reality. School is not reality. You can get away with stuff in school that will get you fired in the workplace. You have free speech. You could tell off your boss. Now, you have the right to make the choices that you want. Now, those choices, those decisions, those choices you make come with consequences. You don't have the right to avoid the consequences of the choices you make. Truth is offensive to those wishing to get around it. And that is where I think the crux of the attack on free speech is. They want to say everybody is right in their own mind, and so you can't judge me. But then they'll turn around and say, you're wrong if you believe this. You're wrong if you believe this. You're intolerant. You're intolerant. You are, and they have a whole list of adjectives that I'm just not going to waste my time with right now. Part of it is there's a large group of our young people that have never learned to take criticism. Now, as an adult, I don't just walk up and criticize people and think that it's my right as an adult to do so. That's not my jurisdiction. You know, if I'm in a coaching capacity, then yeah, that's what I'm paid to do. If I'm in a teaching capacity, yeah, I'm supposed to educate you. You don't educate someone by telling them they're always right. You say, this is the truth. This is the reality. This is the way it works. And if you're away from that, you know, you want to test me, you want to challenge me, that's great. We'll do it. Let's do it in an open forum. And let's be adult. Let's be grown-ups. But you don't have the right not to be offended. The Nazism that's going on is the most scary because they don't realize that this stuff has happened before. Any student of history can go in society after society where it's gotten to this point and realize the very next step is tyranny. It's funny because the Antifa crowd is trying to say that they're trying to stop tyranny, and they don't realize they are the ones ushering in the tyranny. I remember seeing Watchmen, the movie, but I read the comic first. And it was the same author that did V for Vendetta. And the author, whose name escapes me, it was a criticism of Margaret Thatcher's England. And it was really astounding to me because did they really think that the trend was going toward taking a moral cookie cutter and pushing it on everybody else and making it impossible for people that are dissenters to exist? You know, V for Vendetta, one of the characters, the mouth, was always against gays. He was against Muslims. He was against all these, taking one viewpoint and forcing it down everybody else's throat. Was that where Margaret Thatcher was headed? Is that where Reagan was headed at those times? Well, I was alive during those times. I know. That's not what was happening. There was a lot of backlash with certain of these dissenters trying to find their own ground. But they were never in danger of being stamped out. That danger that they said was there then in Thatcher's England and in Reagan's America. They're here now, though, and they march under the name of Antifa. The greatest obstacle to learning is not ignorance. It's the illusion of knowledge. It's when you think you know what's going on, but you don't. Free speech, if it falls, all bets are off. We still have a chance to get it back, but it means we need to practice free speech again, free thought, and abandon this whole political correct, this whole, I'm going to shout you down if I disagree with you. If you're intolerant, doesn't matter. I'm just going to shout you down. When I teach classes and people want to talk during the classes, I usually say something like this. If you don't want to listen, that's your choice. But when you talk to someone else, you're taking the choice away from that person whether or not to listen to me, because now they can't listen to me. We need to grow up. That's all.